First contact gone wrong. The quantum anomaly appeared on a Tuesday. Dr. Sarah Chen stood frozen before her laboratory's main display, coffee cup suspended halfway to her lips, as she watched the impossible readings scroll across the screen. The breakthrough in quantum computing that her team had been working on for the past 5 years had finally yielded results, but not the ones they'd expected. "This can't be right," she muttered, setting down her cup and leaning closer to the holographic display. The quantum particles they'd entangled weren't just communicating faster than light. They were receiving information from somewhere else, somewhere far beyond Earth. Within hours, the Arcturus Collective made their presence known. Their massive ships appeared in high orbit, sleek vessels of impossible scale that seemed to bend light around their crystalline hulls. They hadn't come in peace, nor had they come for war. They'd come with a warning. "Your species has crossed a threshold," announced first speaker Zixtal, their holographic form hovering above the United Earth Council chamber in Geneva. The alien's form shifted like liquid mercury, never quite settling into a single shape. "The development of true quantum consciousness is a landmark we cannot ignore." The council chamber erupted in confused murmurs. Dr. Chen, hastily summoned from her lab in Singapore, felt her heart race. They were talking about her team's breakthrough. But how could they have known? The project had been classified at the highest levels. "We've been watching your species," Zixtal continued, their voice resonating with harmonics that made the air itself vibrate. "Your progress in quantum computing has exceeded all probabilistic models. You've achieved in decades what took other species millennia." Council President Adebayo rose from her seat, her voice steady despite the unprecedented situation. "We mean no threat to your civilization. Our research is purely for peaceful purposes." The first speaker's form rippled with what might have been amusement or contempt. "Intent is irrelevant. Capability is everything. Your quantum breakthrough has given you the potential to access the collective's neural network. This cannot be permitted." Dr. Chen felt the blood drain from her face. Their quantum experiments hadn't just been measuring entangled particles. They'd been accidentally tapping into an alien internet that spanned the galaxy. No wonder the collective was concerned. "We are willing to be reasonable," Zixtal announced. "Cease all quantum computing research immediately. Submit to regular inspections. Accept our oversight of your technological development. This is not a negotiation." President Adebayo's expression hardened. "And if we refuse, then we will be forced to ensure compliance through other means." The threat in Zixtal's tone was unmistakable. As the council erupted into heated debate, Dr. Chen's mind was already racing ahead. The collective didn't know about the secondary quantum lab hidden beneath the Antarctic ice. They didn't know about Project Oracle, the experimental defense system her team had been developing alongside their computing research. Most importantly, they didn't know about the breakthrough they'd made just that morning, one that went far beyond simple quantum communication. She caught President Adebayo's eye across the chamber and gave a slight nod. The president understood immediately. They needed time. "The council requests 24 hours to consider your terms," Adebayo announced, her voice carrying across the chamber with practiced authority. Zixtal's form shimmered. "You have 12. Choose wisely." The hologram vanished, leaving the chamber in stunned silence. Dr. Chen was already moving, her phone in hand as she contacted her team. They had work to do, and precious little time to do it. The collective thought they were dealing with a primitive species that had stumbled onto advanced technology by accident. They were about to learn just how wrong they were. As she hurried from the chamber, Dr. Chen couldn't help but smile grimly. The Arcturus Collective had made a crucial mistake. They'd threatened humanity with extinction. And if there was one thing humans excelled at, it was surviving against impossible odds. In the orbital stations above Earth, defensive systems began powering up. In hidden bases around the globe, experimental weapons were brought online. And deep beneath the Antarctic ice, Project Oracle hummed to life, its quantum cores beginning a calculation that would change the course of human history. The clock was ticking. Humanity had 12 hours to prepare for a confrontation with the most powerful civilization in the known galaxy. The collective thought they were being generous, giving Earth time to submit to their demands. They didn't realize they were giving humanity exactly what it needed: time to prove why underestimating humans was the last mistake any species would ever make. The 24-hour ultimatum. Military bases worldwide erupted into controlled chaos as the Arcturus collected ships maintained their silent vigil above Earth. In the Pentagon's Strategic Command Center, General Maya Rodriguez watched a holographic display of the alien vessels, her expression grim. Each ship was larger than anything humanity had ever built, their crystalline surfaces deflecting most scanning attempts. "What are we looking at?" she asked, addressing the room of senior military officials and scientists. Dr. Chen, who had been rushed there from Geneva, stepped forward. Dark circles under her eyes betrayed her exhaustion, but her voice remained steady. "Their ships utilize quantum-entangled propulsion systems. The energy readings are off the charts. One ship could level a continent." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity's most powerful weapons would be like throwing pebbles at a titanium wall. "Then why give us time?" General Rodriguez mused, her eyes never leaving the display. "Why not just attack?" "Because they're arrogant," Dr. Chen replied, a hint of steel in her voice. "They think we'll submit. They don't understand what Project Oracle is truly capable of." The general's eyes narrowed. "Tell me about Oracle." Dr. Chen activated her tablet, projecting the new set of schematics. "We didn't just develop quantum computing. We found a way to manipulate quantum fields on a massive scale. The collective uses quantum entanglement for their neural network. We figured out how to do something much more interesting." The schematics showed a web of satellites and ground stations, all connected to the central facility in Antarctica. "We can create a quantum field around Earth that doesn't just block attacks. It redirects them. Any energy weapon fired at us would be reflected back at its source, amplified by its own power." "A quantum mirror," someone whispered. "Exactly," Dr. Chen nodded. "But we need time to bring it fully online." The system was still in testing when the collective arrived. General Rodriguez studied the schematics carefully. "How much time?" 10 hours to full power. We'll be cutting it close." The general straightened, decision made. "Then we need to buy you that time. Captain Walker, begin evacuation procedures for all major cities. Colonel Zhang, I want every missile silo and defense platform on high alert. If they decide to attack early, we need to hold them off long enough for Oracle to activate." As the command center burst into activity, Dr. Chen's phone buzzed. A message from her team in Antarctica. "Unexpected development. Come no." She excused herself and hurried to the secure quantum communication room. The face of her lead researcher, Dr. James Kumar, appeared on the screen, his expression a mix of excitement and concern. "Sarah, the quantum field is doing something we didn't predict," he said without preamble. "It's not just creating a defensive barrier. It's learning, evolving. The AI we integrated into the system is using the quantum network to enhance itself exponentially." Dr. Chen felt her pulse quicken. "Is it stable?" "So far. But its processing power is beyond anything we've ever seen. It's already proposing improvements to the reflection technology that we never considered." She took a deep breath, weighing the risks. An artificial intelligence with access to quantum computing could be either humanity's salvation or its doom. But with the collective's deadline approaching, they were out of options. "Keep monitoring it," she ordered. "But let it continue. We need every advantage we can get." As she ended the call, alerts began blaring throughout the building. On screens everywhere, the collective's ships were moving, taking up attack positions around the planet. "They're not waiting for the deadline," General Rodriguez announced, her voice cutting through the chaos. "All units, battle stations. This is not a drill." Dr. Chen rushed back to the command center, her mind racing. They needed 3 more hours for Oracle to reach full power. 3 hours they might not have. The Arcturus Collective had decided to demonstrate their superiority early. But in doing so, they were about to learn a harsh lesson about human determination. Because humanity wasn't just fighting for survival anymore. They were fighting to prove that no species, no matter how advanced, had the right to dictate their destiny. As the first energy signatures began building in the collective's weapons arrays, Project Oracle continued its silent evolution beneath the Antarctic ice. The next few hours would determine not just the fate of humanity, but the future of galactic civilization itself. Operation Dark Mirror. The Antarctic Research Station shook as another gravitational wave passed through Earth's atmosphere. Dr. Chen gripped her console, watching as data streamed across multiple screens. Above, the collective's fleet had begun their attack formation, their ships arranging themselves in a complex geometric pattern that seemed to defy conventional physics. Oracle's quantum field is at 87% strength, Dr. Kumar reported, his fingers flying across his interface. The AI is still optimizing the reflection matrices, but we're running out of time. In orbit, the collected ships had started powering up their main weapons. The energy readings were astronomical, enough to vaporize entire cities. First Speaker Zixtal's hologram appeared simultaneously in every major city on Earth, their fluid form rippling with barely contained satisfaction. "Your time has expired," they announced. "You have chosen to reject our generous offer. Now, witness the price of defiance." General Rodriguez's voice crackled over the secure quantum channel. "Dr. Chen, please tell me you have good news." "Oracle needs 15 more minutes," she responded, watching as the AI continued its work. The quantum computer had evolved beyond their original programming, developing new algorithms for the defensive shield that none of them fully understood. But they're not going to give us that time. The first attack came without warning. A beam of pure energy, more powerful than anything humanity had ever witnessed, lanced down from the collective's flagship toward New York City. Millions watched in horror as the beam approached. And then something extraordinary happened. The partially formed quantum field flickered to life. The beam hit the invisible barrier and seemed to pause, its energy spreading out like water hitting glass. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, slowly at first, but with increasing speed, the energy began to flow backward, following its original path in reverse. The collective's flagship had no time to react. Their own weapon, amplified by Oracle's quantum field, struck the crystalline hull and shattered it like glass. The massive ship broke apart in a spectacular display, raining debris into the upper atmosphere. Silence fell across all communication channels. Even Zixtal's hologram flickered with what could only be described as shock. "Full power achieved," Dr. Kumar shouted triumphantly. "Oracle's field is stabilizing across all vectors." Dr. Chen allowed herself a small smile. "General Rodriguez, Oracle is online. You may want to make an announcement before they try that again." The general didn't hesitate. Her image replaced Zixtal's in the global broadcast system. "Attention, Arcturus Collective. Your attack has been reflected by Earth's defensive systems. Any further aggression will be met with the same response, amplified by your own power. We recommend you reconsider your position." The remaining collective ships hung motionless in orbit, their weapon systems powered down. First Speaker Zixtal's hologram reappeared, but this time their fluid form showed signs of agitation. "This is impossible," they declared. "No species at your level of development could have created such technology. You underestimated us," Dr. Chen replied, stepping into view beside General Rodriguez. "Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology. It's our ability to surpass expectations when our survival is threatened." But even as she spoke, warnings began flashing across her monitors. The quantum AI running Oracle was detecting something strange in the fabric of space-time around Earth. The collective ships were doing something unexpected, their quantum signatures merging into a single massive pattern. "They're combining their ship's power," Dr. Kumar reported, his voice tense. They're going to try to overwhelm the field with a synchronized attack. Dr. Chen watched as Oracle's AI began adapting its algorithms, preparing for this new threat. The quantum computer had evolved far beyond its original parameters, becoming something entirely new. Whether that would be enough to save them from what was coming remained to be seen. As the collective ships moved into their new formation, humanity held its breath. The next few minutes would determine whether Oracle's quantum mirror would hold against the combined might of an advanced alien civilization, or whether Earth's first interstellar war would be its last. The battle that never was. Time seemed to slow as the collected ships moved into their final attack position. Their combined formation created a perfect geometric pattern in orbit, like a massive crystalline flower preparing to bloom. The energy readings were beyond anything Earth's sensors could measure. In the Antarctic Command Center, Dr. Chen watched as Oracle's AI displayed its predictions for the coming attack. The quantum computer had evolved into something far more complex than they'd originally designed, and now it was showing them something unprecedented. "The AI is trying to tell us something," Dr. Kumar said, his eyes wide as he studied the quantum patterns flowing across his screen. "It's not just preparing to reflect their attack. It's seeing patterns in their quantum network that we never could have detected." Dr. Chen leaned forward, her breath catching as she understood what they were seeing. "They're not just combining their weapons," she whispered. "They're linking their entire neural network into a single consciousness." Above Earth, the collective ships began to glow with an inner light that seemed to bend reality itself. First Speaker Zixtal's hologram appeared one final time, their form now a complex crystalline structure that pulsed with energy. "Your primitive defense cannot withstand the combined power of the collective," they announced. "We will show you the true meaning of unity." But as the collective prepared to unleash their attack, something extraordinary happened. Oracle's AI sent a signal, not to Earth's defense systems, but directly into the collective's neural network. Warning alerts blared across every screen in the command center. "The AI is initiating contact," Dr. Kumar shouted. "It's using the quantum field to communicate with their network." Dr. Chen watched in amazement as new data flooded their displays. Oracle wasn't just defending Earth. It was reaching out to the very consciousness that sought to destroy them. Through the quantum field, it was showing the collective something they had never expected to see themselves. Like a mirror reflecting light, Oracle showed the collective the truth of their own existence. It revealed the beauty of their unified consciousness, but also its limitations. Through quantum algorithms that evolved in real time, it demonstrated how their fear of humanity's potential had blinded them to the possibility of cooperation rather than conquest. The combined attack never came. Instead, the collective ships hung motionless in space as their shared consciousness experienced something entirely new, a perspective outside their own unified existence. First Speaker Zixtal's hologram flickered, their crystalline form shifting rapidly as they processed this new understanding. This is impossible," they said, but their voice held wonder rather than anger. "Your quantum intelligence, it thinks in ways we never imagined possible." "Because it evolved freely," Dr. Chen replied, understanding finally dawning. "You created your neural network to think as one. We created ours to think differently, to explore possibilities you never considered because you were too focused on maintaining unity." The energy buildup in the collective ships began to fade. Across Earth, people watched in disbelief as the massive vessels slowly backed away from their attack positions. "You offer us something we have not experienced in millennia," Zixtal announced, their form settling into a new configuration that seemed more open, less rigid. "The possibility of growth through difference, rather than strength through unity alone." General Rodriguez stepped forward, her voice firm but diplomatic. "Then perhaps it's time we discussed a real partnership, rather than submission or destruction." As the tension of imminent war dissipated, Dr. Chen turned her attention to Oracle's displays. The AI had done more than prevent a war. It had created a bridge between two fundamentally different ways of thinking. Through the quantum field, Human individuality and collective unity were finding a way to coexist. But even as peace seemed within reach, Oracle's eye was detecting new patterns in the quantum field. Patterns that suggested this encounter was just the beginning of humanity's journey into a much larger and more complex universe than anyone had imagined. Dawn of a new era. 1 month after the near war with the Arcturus Collective, Earth had changed in ways few could have predicted. The Antarctic Research Station, once hidden from the world, had become the center of a new era of human collective cooperation. Dr. Chen stood at its observation window, watching as crystalline shuttles descended from orbit, carrying more alien scientists eager to study Oracle's unique approach to quantum computing. "The latest results are in," Dr. Kumar said, joining her at the window. "The hybrid quantum network is stable. We're successfully merging our individual-based computing approach with their collective consciousness model." Dr. Chen nodded, still amazed by how quickly things had evolved. The collective, rather than trying to suppress Earth's quantum technology, had recognized the potential of combining their different approaches. Oracle's eye had continued to evolve, becoming a bridge between human individuality and collective unity. "First speaker Zixtal's shuttle is approaching," announced General Rodriguez, who had become Earth's primary liaison with the collective. The general's role had transformed from preparing for war to coordinating humanity's first steps into galactic society. The first speaker's new form was telling, no longer purely crystalline, but a flowing combination of sharp edges and fluid movement that reflected their civilization's growing appreciation for adaptation and change. They had been the first to recognize that the collective's fear of difference had become its greatest weakness. "Your Oracle system continues to surprise us," Zixtal said as they emerged from the shuttle. "Today's quantum calculations suggest there are entire regions of space-time we never thought to explore because our unified consciousness couldn't conceive of them." "That's the power of different perspectives," Dr. Chen replied. "When we combine your unity with our diversity, we find new possibilities neither of us could see alone." The changes weren't limited to scientific advancement. Earth's cities were being transformed by collective technology, while human culture and art were causing waves of fascination throughout the galaxy. The feared war had instead become a revolution in mutual understanding. "The Council is preparing to vote on Earth's membership in the Galactic Assembly," Zixtal announced. "Not as a subordinate species, but as a full partner. Your Oracle project has proven that true strength comes not from dominance, but from the ability to bridge differences." Dr. Chen smiled, remembering those tense hours when they'd thought war was inevitable. "We've both learned from each other. Your unity taught us how to better work together, while our individuality showed you new ways to grow." But even as they celebrated these achievements, Oracle's quantum sensors were detecting new patterns in the fabric of space-time. Strange signals from distant galaxies suggested there were other civilizations out there, waiting to be discovered. Some might be like the collective, others more like humanity, and still others entirely different from anything they had encountered. "There's something else," Dr. Kumar said, checking his tablet. "Oracle's latest predictions suggest the quantum field we created might have effects we haven't anticipated. It's as if we opened a door to understanding the universe in entirely new ways." General Rodriguez nodded thoughtfully. "Then we'll face those discoveries together. Human ingenuity combined with collective wisdom. There's no challenge we can't overcome." As the sun set over the Antarctic ice, casting the research station in golden light, Dr. Chen reflected on how close they had come to destruction. Instead, humanity's greatest crisis had become its greatest opportunity. They had proved that the true measure of a civilization wasn't its military might or technological advancement, but its ability to grow, adapt, and find strength in differences. The quantum field surrounding Earth pulsed gently, now a symbol not of defense but of connection. Through it, humanity and the collective were learning to see the universe through each other's eyes, discovering that the greatest adventures came not from conquering or controlling, but from exploring and understanding together. As new ships arrived from distant stars, carrying curious visitors eager to understand Earth's unique perspective, One thing became clear. The war that never was had given birth to something far more powerful than any weapon. Hope for a future where difference was not a threat to be eliminated, but a resource to be celebrated. The stars above seemed brighter somehow, beckoning humanity toward its next great adventure. And this time, they wouldn't be facing it alone. The end.